Greetings. Welcome to our PodVision. I stand corrected. We're a chiropractic office located in Tarpon Springs, Tarpon Total Health Care, and we are your host for this PodVision. And you're probably wondering why it is that I have this ridiculous doily on my face. Well, as it turns out, our guest today is a trademark attorney. And so we're going to talk about a couple of things that might be commonly known, but a couple of things that we learned along the way in our trademarking process that also includes the doily. So I want to thank you, Dina, for coming on with us today.
My pleasure.
Dina Arvanitakis. Okay, this is now coming off. Whew. You have a name that took me 2 months to practice and recite, and because I just didn't want to say it wrong. But now I say it, it's so pretty. So please tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, where you're from,
Okay.
What's your name, like the origin of that.
Sure. So Arvanitakis is obviously a Greek name. I am a product of two cultures. My parents immigrated from Greece, and I was born and raised in the United States, where I went to school. That's where I went to grad school, and then I moved to Florida in 2000 and got my third law license. So I'm actually licensed in Illinois, Washington, D.C., as well as Florida to practice law. So the process of me being here today, being an attorney, really started when I was in 4th grade. I decided I like school. School's easy.
Oh.
I'm just going to go all the way. And I picked law over math because I'm not good in math. So I didn't do any sciences because I was afraid that, I wouldn't be able to take calculus or anything above trigonometry or in chemistry. So I decided to stay with law because I like to read, I like to write, and I like to argue.
There it is. Because I swear my children, they're grown now, they tried out for the bar every day of their little lives from the moment that they were talking. And even before my daughter could really be understood, I was like, oh, I have a feeling I know where this is going to go. It didn't, but whatever. They tried.
Well, there was a part of my life where my mom nicknamed me Yes, But, because I always had this rebuttal to say.
And it's so funny because we've known each other for a couple of years now. And you're truly one of the sweetest ladies that I've ever met. Highly professional. You walk into the room and class and elegance follow you.
Oh, thank you.
And that's typically not what is... if you're playing word association, argumentative doesn't exactly fall in line with and that's typically what folks, their opinion of attorneys are. Well, I mean, it's part of your job. It's a job description. You have to be argumentative or you're not going to be very good.
Or you have to be able to split hairs.
True.
And make distinctions.
That's very true. So you started in what area of law?
Okay, so early in my career, usually when you get out of law school, you'll just get the first job that comes to you. So the longest practice was real estate.
Okay.
I started off doing real estate and immigration law. And then I switched firms where I did real estate, especially during the height of the real estate debacle. I spent 5 years just doing foreclosure defense, day in and day out. I'm proud to say that I helped thousands of homeowners keep their jobs because the firm also had a loss mitigation department. So we would adjust the terms of the loan if it was feasible and affordable.
Right.
We'd keep them in their homes, or the alternative would be we'd settle them out without a foreclosure judgment. So it was good. And then I kind of got burned out with that. And then foreclosures dried up, thankfully. So I did more real estate law. And then I realized I didn't like real estate litigation anymore. So I just got burned out. So I started doing estate planning and probate because, again, there's some litigation in probate, but you can cherry pick and choose probate cases that are not going to end up being litigated.
Right.
And I started looking into doing more transaction-based legal work, and I really found my path. I enjoy doing transactional work. I don't like to litigate anymore.
Because it's like a long breakup.
It is, and it's so toxic, and it can affect your health.
True.
I mean, I realized that wasn't me. I don't wake up every morning thinking fight, fight, fight. I'm more of a let's make a deal person.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that's another reason why I also expanded my services and I do mediation, because I can broker deals and help parties come to the table and have a discussion that could lead to a settlement.
Right.
Which is win-win for everyone.
Best possible outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you go to trial, there's only going to be one clear winner and one clear loser.
True.
And at the end of the day, everyone feels like they lost.
Right.
And everyone hates their attorneys. They think their attorneys got all the fees and stuff. So if you can come to your senses and work out a settlement,
right,
both parties can get something when they're leaving the table.
That's such a much gentler and clear perspective of the legal side of life, because you're right. I never actually thought of it in those terms. There's a winner and a loser, and it's going to be a winner or a loser, and really there's no in between except in what it is that you do. That's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah.
And it makes what you do now that much more fruitful.
It is, because I'm a peacemaker.
Yeah, which is an odd thing for attorneys, if we're being honest.
Right.
That's not something that the attorneys worldwide are really known for.
But as I matured in my professions, I got my license in Illinois in 1998.
Okay.
And I got my Florida license in 2000. As I matured in my profession, I realized that there's many different flavors of lawyers.
Yes.
You can choose to be the quintessential jerk attorney. You can be the narcissist, or there's no shortage of unethical attorneys.
That's true.
Or you can choose to represent the profession with honor and respect.
Right.
And depending on what areas of the law, if you find your niche and you're happy with it, then you do better customer service and you're just a more productive member of society.
I believe that wholeheartedly, and that applies to every walk of life, I feel like. So you and I have outside of us being friends, and it's such a pleasure and an honor to be friends with you personally.
Likewise.
But professionally, we have history. So I stumbled into the knowledge that you do Trademark. And so Dr. John and I had told him that I had put like 20,000 miles on my truck, my brand new truck. And I couldn't do that anymore. I live 36 miles from driveway to driveway. And so my husband and I talked about it. And so I went to Dr. John and just thought, oh man, this might be it for me in Tarpon Total Health Care. Because my husband had said, no more driving. That's it. Brand new truck.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have that many miles. And so I went to him almost woefully and told him that I need a vehicle. And he said, okay. I said, and it should be branded because I live almost 40 miles away. So if you're going to provide a vehicle for me, why doesn't it advertise for the office constantly? And he said, done. I was so mad at myself. I could have asked him for that months ahead of time. And so, but anyway, so then I designed the car. He really just handed me the keys and gave me almost carte blanche. I mean, I approved everything with him, of course. And so I thought that it would be a cool idea.
Sure.
To have a chiropractic office with a spine in the front seats, and then have our list of services and, some other things. And so we did that, not knowing anything about Trademark. It was actually a pretty incredible risk that we took, because if the road would have gone a different direction, we'd have had to rip that vinyl right off of there and start from scratch.
Sure.
And luckily, that God protected us on that one, because that was quite the process, just getting the car, and it's a black car and we have a white wrap on it. So there were just all kinds of little hiccups that we were going through. And so I already had the car done when you and I started talking, and I didn't come to you about the car. It was a tagline that I wanted to change, because Tarpon Total Health Care name alone kind of sounds like a primary care office.
Sure.
Well, our slogan, your total health is our primary concern, 100% sounds like a medical office, right? And a primary care provider specifically. And we got calls probably a dozen a day. And so when you and I started talking, I had created the hashtag spinal adjustments you can trust. Well, that's the duh factor, obviously.
Right.
That leans directly facing a chiropractic office. And then the conversations that you and I had after that, like I sweat a little bit, if I'm being honest, because I was like, oh no, we've done this backwards and we didn't even know. And I am sure, because I'm a chick that does due diligence, except in this, because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Right. And I was familiar with trademark and copyright and things like that, but they didn't apply to this in my brain. It was our conversation. And so, yeah, you did such a beautiful job. The process was really, you've streamlined it where it's a science for you.
Yes.
So you nailed that class.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's talk about the Backmobile.
Yes, the Backmobile. Well, you cannot trademark a hashtag, but you can trademark the
name,
slogan.
Mm-hmm.
And I paired it up with the Backmobile. So now you have it all protected. There's different ways you can protect something. You can protect just the business name, just the logo, just the slogan, or you can also do all three at once. I mean, maximum protection you can individualize because it gives you freedom. But when you do everything all at once, you have to use them all at once.
Okay, I see.
But I figured it's all at once on your car.
Yeah.
You're not going to piecemeal the wrap on your car.
Right.
So, yeah, there's different ways to protect, and doing them all together could be cost effective. But I did the search for both Tarpon Total Health Care and the Backmobile, and no one had taken it. I did see on another medical website, your total health is our primary concern.
Really?
Or your health is our
that's right.
primary concern. But it wasn't trademarked. So it's fair game under common law. They can coexist, but they can't expand and trademark it and use it anywhere else.
So it seems like it's kind of like, trademarking. It almost sounds cool. Oh, my business is trademarked. It makes you sound like you've leveled up and you're doing next level business. But truly, especially this day and age, if you don't trademark your business, I don't think business owners truly understand how wide open and susceptible they are to theft.
Yes. So let's say, okay, you only operate in the state of Florida. You have your business, let's call it ABC Company. Mm-hmm. It's taken in Florida SunBiz. It's not available to any other Floridian to take that company, but nothing would stop me from going to the state of Georgia and getting that same company in their business registration. Then I go and I trademark it, and then I've just boxed you up in a corner because you existed prior to me, but you're only allowed to do what you're doing. If you ever wanted to expand and your business is growing, you can never expand past the little boundary that you're in. So if your concept of your business is growth and to expand, you definitely want to do a trademark because it adds that little extra layer of credibility. Right. But it gives you the ability to expand. The sky's the limit. Right. And it also gives you the right to sue. Because if you have, let's say, you do have like an online store and you've got this business, and you never did a search. I mean, I highly recommend before anyone even opens a business, you should search to make sure that the name is truly available to you and not just in the state of Florida. But if you have your business and then someone else trademarks it and you're already doing business interstate commerce, that newly registered trademark business can shut you down.
Wow.
They'll send you a cease and desist letter first, and if you don't comply, then they can sue you, because that's what the trademark does. It gives you the legal right to sue.
So why would a person want to do that? Other than there's evil in the world, I get that.
Oh, yeah. Or there's cyber squatters. People will steal your domain, or they'll purchase, they know what your business is, and they'll purchase a domain that you would want.
Right.
And then they'll resell it to you for
$1 billion.
A ridiculous price.
Right. How often do you see that occur?
I've read about it. I haven't personally encountered like someone to come to me to talk to me about that,
right,
about the cyber squatting. But
cyber squatting, I've never heard that term. But I mean,
there's no
makes
limit
sense.
to evil in this world.
That's true.
Or, people are there's an element in society they're always going to want to steal and take what's yours,
kill and destroy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely the trademark. If you're only going to do business in one little location, you never, ever, ever want to expand, then there's no, you're not legally compelled to file for a trademark. But I would do it anyway.
Yeah, because the world has evolved, evil has evolved for certain. And as technology evolves and business and the way that we do business in the world changes, then so do the evil ways of man. And so I would think that, I mean, like I so many of my friends, a large part of my role in our office is engaging with business owners, small business, the mom and pops of the whole Nature Coast, Tampa Bay corridor, is my love. Like, I love small business owners, and I would be fighting mad for them if ABC Company, who has been ABC Company since their great grandfathers started the business. Before there was pavement on the road, it was a dirt road at the corner. And now they've just continued on. They've continued a family legacy. And then somebody comes and steals it. Mm-hmm. That's deplorable.
And not only that, today's world is just shrinking. It's so small. And with technology, all you need is a computer and you can do telemedicine. You can have clients from all over. So it's easy to expand in this modern world.
Right.
So you're better off protecting your brand and make sure no one infringes on it.
Well, and that's a word too that is I don't want to, not trying to make it trendy. It is branding. That wasn't in our vernacular, up until a few years ago, where it really ramped up with popularity, and now everybody's a branding expert.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I had been introduced to another business owner. Oh, she can talk to you about branding. I'm like, no, no, I paddle my own kayak. I know what color that kayak is. Branding is not, I understand the concept of it, but to speak to it with any real, no, that's not me. But branding is everything.
Yes, and it also applies to your goods and services.
Right.
So it's not just one thing. You got to brand it the right way to represent yourself in the best light.
Right. So, it's part of our process. You gave me a very detailed questionnaire. And then after I answered it, then we went over it like 3 times because you wanted to make sure, okay, are you going to ever sell shirts?
Yes.
Are you ever going to sell visors, whatever, because I want the logo on shirts. I've got fun things that I want to do with what we, paid good money for. Wasn't exorbitant, but it was money worth spending. And now I want to be able to maximize that every way that I can. But then if we would have sold shirts, that would have changed things.
Yeah. So there's 41 to maybe 44, I have to check, international classes that define any goods or services that your business does.
Right.
So when you trademark it, you have to get it for what it is exactly that you're offering to the public, your goods or your service. So you're in the medical field, that's one class. Stationery is a different class. The back and forth that we did was to narrowly define it with specificity what your classes are.
Right.
So I can apply for you in the correct class in terms of what you're doing and you're offering to the public. And then, we wanted to keep costs in mind because every class is $250 with the USPTO. So if you put in a wrong class, you're just wasting money
yeah.
at that point. And the classes also affect if you're going to get registered, because if there's another business that's mildly similar to yours in terms of name, and they're in something in the same class or related class, then you run the risk of being denied your registration, and those fees are not refundable.
Right.
So it's very important how you describe yourself in those classes if you want to become registered.
Now, let's say that we go all the way through the process, which we have, and the Backmobile is solid as a rock. And we've decided, you know what? We're going to have merch and we're going to sell stuff at a vendor event, First Fridays in Tarpon Springs. Could the trademark be revisited, like reopened? Like what happens then?
So, okay. With a registered trademark, you can always amend it to narrow it. Okay. But you can never amend it to expand it.
Oh, so we're not selling shirts.
So you may or may not need to trademark if you're selling shirts, and here's why. If you want to have it just ornamental, like a big design on your shirt, you can't register that. That's considered ornamental, so you can just put it on there and sell it. But if you wanted to put it on the label, like behind your shirt, or if you like Nike or Adidas, wherever, they put the little logo here. If it's placed there, then you should register it. So it depends where you want to place it on your shirt, and how big it is. If it's just like this big thing, then you don't need to trademark it. But if it's going to be an exclusive product to you that you want to go into retail and shirts, then only if you plan on using it like a Nike logo on the side, where traditionally they're put, or a label in the back, then you should trademark it.
Okay. We might be talking later. We're always doing things in our office. And, but I believe that a good business owner is going to have good business practices, and you want to do things not just to edge people out. That actually is not the intent at all. It's just to do business the right way. And so not laying yourself open to where you can be, you can have your ideas and things like that, the concepts taken from you, I believe is a healthy and reasonable choice that a business owner should make.
Because you make yourself distinct. You're protecting yourself. Right. And right now, I'm working on an international trademark. I trademarked a company that does spices and teas. Right. And they plan on doing the same business in Greece. Wow. So now she's registered in the United States as the trademark owner of the spice and tea company. Right. So we're going to do that in Greece. You even have the option through internationally. You can do it in the EU, which will give you protection in all the European Union.
That's incredible to know.
Yeah, there is a treaty called the Madrid Protocol. Right. I think there are like over 140 nations that have agreed it simplifies and streamlines the process,
Right.
where you can be internationally trademarked now.
That's great to know. Our time is almost up, and we didn't get to talk about the other areas of law that you practice, and I had them marked on here. But honestly, this topic alone is so vital to the small business owner that it was too good to just kind of breeze by. I didn't want to just go through bullet points. This is really, really important. So, Dina, thank you so much for coming on our PodVision and being part of this with us. The next thing we're doing, Snappy Spine.
I'm looking forward to that project.
I'm excited about it. So here's the deal. If you're a small business owner and you're hearing this at any point and you have not had a conversation with an attorney about trademarking, protecting your business from all of the different ways you're open to, by people that you don't know, they're across the country. They'll never meet you. You should do that. Dina Arvanitakis with Arvanitakis Legal Law Group. I'm so sorry. She can be found online at www.alg-legal.com. There's a whole list of services. There's so many things that she can take care of for you. But if you're a small business owner, talk to her about your trademark if it's necessary. Talk about what copyright is. There's so many different legs to this. And maybe only one applies to you. Maybe all of them apply to you. You will not know unless you have a conversation. So reach out to her and follow her on Facebook. She has a really great YouTube channel too. She puts a lot of great information out there free of charge for you folks to glean from. So, and then while you're at it, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, no, not TikTok yet. I'm working on that, but our YouTube, however it is that you're seeing this, that's where we're at. And, thank you so much for watching. At Tarpon Total Health Care, we're a chiropractic office in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and we provide for you spinal adjustments that you can trust so you too can stand corrected. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.